Andariki namaskaramulo. Today is another good day for all of us that we are going to have another webinar from Dr. Karanam Aravinda Rao garu. I will introduce him, though he doesn't need any introduction to all of us. He has been taking webinars for last 5-6 weeks. But nevertheless, briefly, I will introduce him after Vande Mataram and Prarthana. I request Surya Prakash garu to recite Vande Mataram, please.
Yes, sir. Sarvebhyah namaskaraha. Om Sri Mahaganadhapatiye Namah. Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Sujalam Sufalam Malayajasi Talam Sasya Syamalam Mataram Vande Mataram Suprajosna Pulakitayamini Pullakusumita Drumadala Sovini Suhasini Sumadurabhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram
Vande Mataram.
Dhanyavadam sir. Dhanyavadam sir.
Guru Prakash garu. Now, Saugandhi ji, can you chant Prarthana, please?
Namaste. Trivaram Omkara and a minute of meditation. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvanutibhi Siddha Sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Vajinivati Dhinamavitriyavatu. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gatir Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Gurof Paramam Shishurasmi Guroho Matirasti Gurau Mama Pahi Guro Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Shruti Smriti Purananam आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। शुभमस्तु कल्याणमस्तु। धन्यवादाः।
ధన్యవాదములండి. Now, let me introduce the speaker to all of you. It is my privilege again to introduce Dr. Karanam Aravinda Rao garu, IPS, retired as Director General of Police of United Andhra Pradesh State. His rich and vast experience in policing and administration as a top cop and anti-Naxal expert, Dr. Aravinda Rao garu played an important role in effectively dealing with left-wing extremism in Andhra Pradesh during his distinguished career in the police, security and safety department. Dr. Rao garu served as Additional Director General of State Intelligence Department, the Additional Commissioner of Police Hyderabad, Inspector General of Police Greyhounds, and IGP Crime Investigation Department. He also holds a PhD Sanskrit and has authored several books on Sanatana Dharma. Renowned for his sincerity and simplicity, Dr. Aravinda Rao garu developed a keen interest in studying Sanatana Dharma during his service, and this led him to pursue masters in Sanskrit. Under aegis of his guru Padma Shri Pullela Ramachandruji, a Mahopadhyaya, and Shri Tattva Vidhananda Swamiji, Dr. Aravinda Rao garu developed a deep understanding of Sanatana Dharma, Vedanta, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, and Bhashyams. Post his retirement, Dr. Rao has authored several books in Telugu and English, besides the book on analysis of Gnanam in Upanishads in Sanskrit. He has also adeptly woven ancient Vedic wisdom with practical knowledge and rendered several online lectures on various subjects relating to Advaita, Shankara Bhashyam, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, to name a few. Dr. Aravinda Rao garu has been the recipient of several awards and was also conferred with the honorary title of Vachaspati by Rashtriya Vidya Peetham, a deemed university of Government of India, for his valuable service in the field of Sanskrit studies. And again, I am very happy and privileged to have introduced Dr. Rao garu to all of you, and I welcome him to take the webinar, please. Dr. Rao garu.
Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Om Namo Gurubhyaha. Good evening or good morning, everyone. I think for some it may be good morning, some it is good evening. This is the third time, I think, third or fourth time, I think I'm addressing this gathering. So I request that the introduction can be shortened. It can be just in 1 minute or so. So today's subject is the significance of rituals. About rituals, of course, all of us, we are born into the same society. We are born into a climate in which we have seen rituals right from our childhood. Maybe the present day children who are born somewhere else, that is in America or some other country, they will not be seeing the rituals which we have seen in our childhood. So we in India, we have also seen several, we have also heard a lot of criticism about rituals. One criticism which we hear is, oh, all these rituals are totally useless. All these greedy Brahmins, they wanted to make money, and then they introduced so many rituals. So that is one standard criticism from the left-wing intellectuals. So we can forget about it because all that thing is a total nonsense. These are the people who want to discredit anything that is in Hinduism. So let us totally discredit and start with a fresh mind. So if we see these rituals, why are rituals important? Rituals are important because they impart a sense of discipline in the mind of a person. Suppose you see an army marching to the tune of some martial music and drums. So you see them perfectly perfectly marching, absolutely in tune, and then everybody all in one step only, and then from any angle, if you take a photograph, there is so much of it is so much of uniformity in that, and it is so impressive. So ritual is but they could have also been they could have also joined army without doing all this drill and left turn, right turn, etc. They could have simply done some bodybuilding, and then they could have joined the army. Suppose all the people, all the ruffians on the ground, on the roads, suppose they are taken into the army. How will that army function? Will there be any discipline? Will there be some uniformity? Will there be a chain of command? So the importance of drill is that is to bring in some amount of discipline. So the rituals are also same. In addition to that, rituals have a lot of significance. In addition to the very, very limited objective of bringing some discipline in the mind of a person, rituals are also very, very significant. Let us see what exactly these rituals are. If we see our text, all our texts, we see a word called karma. There is a general word called karma. The word karma has got two meanings. One is the action we do, and the other is the karma phalam also is included by the word karma. Oh, this is the karma. This is the karma of a person. When we say this is the karma of a person, then we are referring to the karma phalam, the result of that karma. When we are talking about a particular karma, a particular vratam, a particular yajnam, a particular some other ritual, then we are referring to a particular karma. So let us talk about the karma in the sense that we are doing a particular activity, not the karma phalam. Karma phalam will maybe in passing we may make a reference to that. So this karma, it is actually a generic word for all the rituals we do. It is a sort of generic word. So what are these rituals? If we see our karma in the according to the vision of our sages, the human psychology has to be taken into consideration. The human mind or human psychology is that everybody is not contented with what he has. So you want something more. You want something more. And right from olden days, we all have faith in God. Of course, there may be some people who don't have any faith in God, who don't believe in anything. But most of us, we do believe that there is a God. And then whenever there is some problem, we do pray to God, and then we offer our prayers, and then we want this, oh Lord, you give me this, etc. So and so, chame, chame, etc. This, that, etc. So we make a request to the gods. And then in addition to that, the sages have also got a responsibility to bring about some sort of discipline in the society, discipline and harmony in the society, some sort of integration in the, of all the people, a sort of cultural integration. So for all these reasons, some karmas evolved. Then all these karmas evolved in the light of the philosophy of Vedanta. Of course, the philosophy of Vedanta is the basic fountainhead. If we see the Vedas and the Vedanta, of course, the end portions of the Vedas are Vedanta, we all know. And these Vedanta means, in other words, the Upanishads only. So these Upanishads, they give a philosophical picture of what is the highest reality. And all the people may not be able to contemplate that highest reality. There are many people, society has many levels of people. There are some very, very ordinary people who, a very ordinary person who thinks that his own village deity is the be all and end all. There is somebody slightly more, a person who is aware of some god who is in Tirumala. Oh, he says, yeah, that god is very famous, let us go there. Somebody is aware of some god in, say, Kashi, let us say. So he will talk about Kashi. So our understanding is at different levels. So the Vedas have to take into consideration people of all, say, levels. So whatever puja a villager is doing, the Vedas don't condemn it. Somebody slightly who is more aware, he is thinking about a god who has got a name, a particular form, etc. So Vedas, they said, okay, fine. And somebody else is doing some Vishwarupa Upasana, as we see in Vishwarupa Adhyaya. So that Vishwarupa Upasana, it is one of the highest Upasanas, like we do in the Purusha Suktam and various other things, Uttaranaranam, etc. So that also it is said, yes. So if we see the entire karma which we do, there are the rituals physically which are done. And there are, of course, some upasanas also. Let us not talk about upasanas today. We will talk only about rituals. That is the person who sits in front of a deity or sits with some sort of kalasham like this and then does some Sandhya Vandana. So let us talk about various rituals only. So these rituals, they are classified into different types. Most of you might be knowing, but still I want to start with the fundamentals. So they are classified as Nitya Karma. Nitya means something, it is a Vihita Karma. Vihita means something which is ordained, something which is mandated on a person. That is a Nitya Karma. Nitya also means daily. It has to be done. So Nitya also means daily, but Nitya Karma is something which has to be done. Essentially, it has to be done. If you don't do it, by doing it, you may not get any punya. But then if you don't do it, you will get what is called pratyavaya. Pratyavaya. Akarane pratyavaya, it is said. Akarane pratyavaya means if you don't do the ritual, then you will get some papam. So there is some sort of threat. So Nitya Karma is something which a person has to do. What are these Nitya Karma? Then let me tell from the names first. There is another thing called Naimittika Karma. Naimittika Karma is something which is associated with some nimittam. Nimitta means some cause, some cause of action or some incident, or not incident, some event. Suppose you get a son. So on the event of the occasion of getting a son, you have got some namakaranam and then various other small functions. So there are what are called Shodasya Samskaras. When a person is born, you have got a namakaranam, then what is called after some time there's a hair cutting, and then after some time this piercing the ear, and then various other samskaras. Of course, one of major samskara is upanayanam, that is putting on the sacred thread, and another major samskara is marriage. So like that, various samskaras are there depending on the stage of a person. These are actually, in English, they call it rites of passage. Rites means R-I-T-E-S, not R-I-G-H-T, but R-I-T-E-S, rites of passage. Sociologists, they call them the rites of passage. So in these rites of passage, we have got Shodasya Samskaras. According to some tradition, in various traditions, of course, the number varies. There are 40 Samskaras in one text. There are around 60 samskaras in some other texts. So like that, of course, the Shodasya samskaras, that is 16 samskaras, they are very, very well known from Garbhadhana to Antyeshti. Garbhadhana means the person who puts the Garbham in the womb of a lady. So that is the first samskara. That also has to be done in a very, very pious manner. Then again, Antyeshti is that end when a person, the physical body dies, and then at the smashana, the Antyeshti, that is the final samskara. From Garbhadhana to Antyeshti, there are so many samskaras all through the life. So the human life in Hinduism is full of so many rituals and full of samskaras. So these are called Naimittika karmas. Nitya karma on one hand, Naimittika karma on one hand, and Kamya karma. Kama, the word kama means desire. Kama is desire. Kama not necessarily sexual desire, but all types of desires. Suppose I want some the latest phone or some latest gadgets. So that is also a kama. Or I want some money, something like that, some other some position. I want some promotion, etc. That is also a kama, is a desire. So desire-oriented action, desire-oriented ritual is called kamya karma. So these are what are these kamya karmas? So desire-oriented ritual is, say I do some, for example, Rudrabhishekam, I do some Rudrabhishekam and then say, okay, I want some good health, etc. And I do some Devi Saptashati Parayanam. And our chief minister in Hyderabad, he does Chandi Homam several times. So in order to remain in power, he gets some 10,000 Brahmins and then some 10,000 Ayuta Chandi Homam, it is said. So like that, people have different desires. And with all these different desires, they perform various karmas. That is called Kamya karma. Of course, there is another thing called Nishiddha karma. We need not go into that because Nishiddha karma is something which is prohibited actions we are not talking about. So Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, and Kamya karma. These are the points. Nitya karma, of course, I did not elaborate. Nitya karma, that is something which is essential. What are these essential things? Essential things is you have to get up before sunrise. When then you have to do Sandhya Vandanam. And then again at 12 noon, you have to do Sandhya Vandanam. Then again at in the evening before sunset, just around the time of sunset, you have to do what is called Sayam Sandhya Vandana. So this is something, Trikala Sandhya Vandana is something which is very, very essential. In addition to that, there are certain other Nitya karmas, like one has to do on Amavasya day or on Purnima day, that is called Darsya Purnamasa Ishti, it is called. Then again, there are what is called, what are these other things? The various other things like Agnihotram, not only Sandhya Vandanam. Of course, I am not doing Agnihotram, so that is the reason why I didn't immediately recall. So every day we are supposed to do Agnihotram also, Nitya Agnihotram. And we are also supposed to keep 3 fires in our house, in our home. There are 3 rooms. There is one fire room. It is called Agni Gruham. In that Agni Gruham, there are 3 types of Agnis we are supposed to keep. I have seen people who have this, who keep these 3 types of Agni in their houses. Nahavani Agni, then Dashina Agni, and then again there is another Agni. So these Agnis, I have seen people in when I was working in Vijayawada and also in Guntur, I saw some very, very orthodox people who are still following all these things. Then again, this Pitru Tarpana, then again, Devatarchana is again a very compulsory duty every day. So these are the compulsory things which are meant to instill some amount of discipline in the mind of a person. So this Nitya karma on one hand, Naimittika karma is one thing. And again, then again, what is this Kamya karma? So these are the things which we see. Naimittika karma can also be something like Shraddha. Suppose my father's anniversary, death anniversary, my mother's death anniversary, I perform some Shraddha. Shraddha has to be compulsory. It is a compulsory thing. So these are Naimittika karma also is compulsory. So Vivaha, it cannot simply take place like a registered marriage. According to our tradition, there should be a Vedic marriage. So that is a compulsory, say, samskara, which a person has to, Naimittika karma, which a person has to perform. So these are the types of karmas. Then these are the basic classifications of karma. Then there are some other activities which are associated with various seasons, our various festivals we do have. For example, Sankranti is one. Sankranti is that Sankramanam, Makara Sankramanam, Surya, sun from one stage to another stage, that Makara Sankramanam, Makara not transmitting, that is transiting into another phase. So that is Makara Sankramanam. Then again, there are some other karmas like In the Kamya karmas, there are also karmas like Shanti karma and Paustika karma. Shanti karma is suppose there is some sort of some evil star is looking at me or some evil graha is looking at me. So for that I have to do some graha shanti or nakshatra shanti. So these are all shanti karmas or something. My horoscope or something shows that there is something, some bad period which is going on. So at that time there I have to perform some shantis, etc. So this is one thing. Paustika karma is, that is again something kamya karma only. Paustika karma is, I am okay, but then I want something more. I am okay perfectly, but then I want something more, and I want to do some yajna. I want to do some other yaga, etc., etc. So these are paushti. Paustika means something which gives us pushti. Pushti means what? Poshanam. That is nourishing. So it may be economic nourishment or it may be any type of nourishment. So this type of karmas are called paustika karma, shanti karma, paustika karma. Then again, the question may arise: are you not encouraging selfishness or greed by doing all these things? So, but then if we see the way in which our sages have structured this karmas is that whenever you are performing a karma, suppose you are performing some yajna or you are performing some puja. When you go to a temple, and then pay some money for that puja and then perform a puja. Then what is it? What are the mantras or what are the suktas which they study? If we observe the suktas are mostly from the Veda, and maybe some other Upanishad also they do recite. In fact, when we saw in this Tirupati, that Amavari temple, that is that downhill, that Amavari temple, that what is that temple? So in that temple, early in the morning when we went to see that Abhishekam, they recited the whole of Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad, of course, I wondered whether they really knew the meaning or not, because I had studied Taittiriya Upanishad. I was so thrilled to listen to that Taittiriya Upanishad being recited by those Brahmins. So that Taittiriya Upanishad is total philosophy, absolute philosophy. And they were performing Abhishekam for that goddess. So that is how our people, and when I do Sandhyavandan, after Sandhyavandan, when I do Devatarchana, what do I recite? I recite what is called Purusha Suktam and also called Uttara Narayanam. What is the meaning of, what is the significance of Purusha Sukta? Purusha Sukta, of course, every day many people may recite Purusha Sukta, many people may recite Uttara Narayanam and Namakam, Chamakam, etc., etc. But then the objective of our sages was that at some point of time, this fellow will try to understand the meaning of it. And then this fellow will gradually develop some vairagya. So that was the intention. It is not the intention of our people to keep us stationed at that level only. It is not as though you are praising the God, oh, you are so powerful, you are this, you are that, etc., etc., and then give me this, give me that, or I will give you this, you please give me that. So that is not like that. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 4 types of devotees. Artho, Jignasu, Artharthi, Jnani cha Bharatarshabha, he says. Artha is somebody who is in distress. Like Kunti. Kunti is an example of Artha Bhakta. And also Prahlada. Prahlada is a Jnani Bhakta, Prahlada is a Jnani Bhakta. Artha Bhakta is Kunti, and also Gajendra. Gajendra, some standard examples are given by our teachers. So Gajendra is one standard example of Artha. Artha means somebody who is in distress and who immediately gives some sort of SOS call to God. Jignasu. Jignasu means Jnatum Ichha Jignasa. That is the meaning of Jignasa. Jnatum Ichha means somebody who wants to know what is that reality, what is God. He wants to know. So some people are Jignasus. So those people also, they are in the path of bhakti. Then Artho Jignasuhu Artharthi. Artharthi means somebody like a king Dhruva, king's son Dhruva. He is not bad. It is not as though he has lost everything. He wanted to sit on the lap of his father, and then when he was pulled down, then he felt bad, and then he felt humiliated, and then he went and then he did tapas on Vishnu, and then Vishnu appears, and then he gives him the status of that Dhruva Nakshatra. So that he is Artharthi. Dhruva is an Artharthi. Jnani is Prahlada. A person who is already enlightened, a person who is in the awareness of that Brahman, who is in that Brahmananda. So when he is in that Brahmananda, whatever his father may want to do, all those things, they don't bother him. They don't disturb him. His father wants to kill him. His father wants to poison him. His father gives some whip lashes and all that. But then he is absolutely unperturbed. He is in his bliss of Brahman. So Jnani Bhakta is that. So we see a variety of Jnani, variety of Bhaktas. So, but then all of us who are in the lower level, all of us who are at the level of Grihasthas, what are we doing? Suppose you recite what is this Purusha Sukta. What does it know? What does Purusha Sukta say? I think I told about Purusha Sukta in one of the earlier talks also. Purusha Sukta is an upasana on the cosmic being. You are visualizing the whole cosmos as one entity, as one organic entity. And when the whole cosmos is one organic entity, and then there is some guiding principle for that, and that guiding principle, we are calling it Ishvara. Ishvara does not mean husband of Parvati. Ishvara means simply you can call it God. So there is some God, and then you are visualizing that, and all the heads of all the living beings, including the head of an ant, head of a mosquito, all the heads of all living beings, they belong to him. So that is the meaning of the first line of Purusha Sukta. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat, Sahasra Shirsha. When I first read it in my childhood, when I was a small boy, when I was a boy, I thought, this man is having 1,000 heads. So 1,000 hands and 1,000, what is this? Indriyas. Aksha, Sahasra, Aksha means Indriya. Sahasra, actually in Vedanta, whenever we find Sahasra, the meaning is infinity. So infinite or infinity. So infinite heads means all the heads of all the living beings. Heads means all the antahkaranas, all the thinking mechanism of all the living beings belong to that. They are actually a reflection of that, is a small piece of it, that cosmic being. So all the indriyas, all the indriya shakti, my eye, my sense of smell, my sense of hearing, all these things, they are part of that aggregate. Then again, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, all the Karmendriya, all the Jnanendriyas, all the Karmendriyas, all these things, they evolve from that. So with that visualization, suppose I think, so I have that the whole universe as one with me. I am not separate from the universe. I breathe the same air which somebody else breathes. I drink the same water which all the people take. And I eat the same food which is common and then which is coming from the earth. So the same food is eaten by all the beings. So I am not something which is different from the aggregate. So I have to work in tune with the cosmic will or cosmic order or cosmic design. So that is what is called Karma Yoga. When I align myself, when I align my work with the cosmic principle, with the cosmic intelligence or with the cosmic design, then I am doing Karma Yoga. When I am doing something against the cosmic will, then I am not doing Karma Yoga. When I want to take more and more from the aggregate, which is not due to me, I am going against Karma Yoga. I am taking only what is due to me, and then I am contributing something to the welfare of the people around me. So then only I am doing Karma Yoga. So that is what is the principle in that Purusha Sukta. And again in Uttaranarayanam, if we see, what is that Uttaranarayanam? Purusha Sukta talks about what is called Sat. Sat means the physical aspect. Uttaranarayanam talks about the intelligence. There are two entities. Two entities means there are two things which we talk of. One is Sat and the other is Chit. Sat is what is called existence. Chit is what is called knowledge or Jnanam, what is called Jnanam or awareness. When I say or when we say I exist, what are there are two components in that I. That is existence. When an ant exists, some glass exists, or some mosquito exists. So there is the principle called existence. And I know, I think, I say, let us say I am. When I say I am, then there is an awareness. There is an awareness in me that intelligence is there. So that intelligence portion is described in Uttaranarayanam. Existence portion is described in this Purusha Sukta. Uttaranarayanam, what does it say? In the heart of everyone, heart means when we are referring to that Antahkarana, The same Sabrahma, Sashiva, Sendra, Sotshara, Paramaswarat, and that is what the Upanishad, that Uttaranarayanam says. The same intelligence principle, Sahasra Shirsham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam. So that there, so Dhyanam Narayana Harihi. So all those lines if we see, and there the principle is that Chit. So Sat and Chit. So these are we are contemplating. And when we talk about Rudram, what are we doing? If we understand the meaning and then at least the broad meaning, though not Rudram again is a slightly difficult text because it belongs to the older portions of the Vedas. If we see the Vedas also probably evolved over a period. And then the early period, if we see the early suktas, they are very tough, very difficult. The grammar doesn't follow the grammar of later Sanskrit. We have got what is called Vedic Sanskrit and we have got classical Sanskrit. Classical Sanskrit is that of Ramayanam, Mahabharata, Kalidasa, and right down to the present day, it is classical Sanskrit, we can say. That is what is said. Then Vedic Sanskrit, it has got its own grammar, it has got its own structure. So let us not go into that. So this Vedic, the old Vedic period, this Rudram is a tough text. It requires some commentary. Without commentary, we cannot understand it. So if we see that again is an upasana. Upasana means meditation. A meditation that is seeing divinity in every being, seeing divinity in all the living beings and all the beings. And Namo Mahatya, Harshulakebhya, Namo Rathakarebhya, Karmarebhya, Kularebhya. All the people, all the people who were present in that society, they were all named, and even including all the good, bad, ugly, all the people, and all the animals, all the trees, all these things. You are looking at it as a divine thing. So there again, Rudram is a upasana, seeing divinity in all the beings. So like that, our people have very intelligently, they have inserted or embedded these suktas in our day-to-day prayers. So that is what the first point we have to see. In fact, Shankaracharya, most of you might have seen Shankaracharya's Bhashyam on Bhagavad Gita. In the very beginning, the second chapter, chapter 2, shloka 10, under that is the beginning, of course, Sambandha, the very opening Bhashyam, if we leave, and then if we go to Shankaracharya's Bhashyam on the regular text, the text that starts with the shloka number 10 of second chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. So there is a line which talks about karma. So which is, there he says, a person may start a particular karma as a kamya karma. He is interested in Swarga. He wants to go to Swarga and then he is doing some yajna. Swarga kamo yajeta, says Veda. That is, a person who desires to go to heaven, he has to perform a particular yajna. So he is performing a yajna. And while listening to all those mantras, suppose he suddenly develops over a period, he develops vairagya. So Shankaracharya writes in that 2- in some editions it is 2-10, in some editions it is 2-11. It doesn't matter. Ashocyanam Vasochastvam Pragyavadanscha Bhashase, under that. So there Shankaracharya says, Swargadi Kamarthinaha Kamye Eva Agnihotradau Pravurtasya. So Swargadi Kamarthinaha is somebody who wants to go to heaven. And then Kamye Agnihotradau Pravurtasya. He is engaged in a Kamya karma called Agnihotram. He is doing some yajna. Then Sami Krute Vinashtepi Kame. While doing it, while performing it.
Go. Don't leave.
Sorry. In the middle of it, in the middle of that
Go.
karma.
Like that.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Some light, it doesn't matter. It is not disturbing me. Some Vivek, there is some light.
Iwai padtadu Jagrata andi. Iwai padte danger.
Oh, that Vivek Garg. Okay. Okay. So, Sami Krute Vinastepi Kame. Natat Kamyam Agnihotradi Bhavati. Agnihotradi Bhavati. So, when he is doing a karma, and then in the middle of it, and slowly, as he performs that, say, karma every day, he realizes, oh, what I am doing is this. This is the upasana, which is the very great upasana, very glorious upasana, which I am doing. So with that awareness, slowly he develops vairagya. And the purpose of all rituals is that only. The purpose of all rituals is to, first of all, drill a person. okay, you are doing this, you are performing some Parayanam. And then if we see our, if we see 1 year calendar, let us say 1 year calendar, if we see, that calendar is a calendar of all dharmic activities a person has to perform. All the dharmic activities. In fact, when we see Chaitra Shuddhana Padhyami, what is the significance? Then we call it Sri Ramanavami. Ramanavaratru, we say. Ramanavaratri means the first 9 days of that Chaitra Masa. Then there are many, even today, there are thousands and thousands of people who read at least some little bit of Ramayana. There are many people who do Parayana of the entire Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana during those 9 days. Then again, there are what are called the not only the Sri Rama Navaratris, there are 4 types of Navaratri, 4 Navaratris in a year. Chatusrushu Navaratrishu, that is what one text says, one Puranam says. That is Vasanta Navaratri, Chaitra Shuddham. Then Grishma Navaratri, that is Ashadha Masam, that is Devi Bhagavatam. Then Sharan Navaratri, that is an Ashwaya Masam, that is again Devi Bhagavatam. Some people, according to their tradition, somebody may read Devi Bhagavatam, somebody may read Vyasa Bhagavatam, anything, according to their own tradition. There is no compulsion. Then again, Shishira Navaratri, Magha Masam. There again, you have got this period. So we have got these now 4 types of 4 Navaratris, which are designed in our annual calendar. So this annual calendar, it goes on and on and on like that. And if we see the lifetime of a Hindu, a practicing Hindu, there is a lifetime timetable of various rituals. The lifetime from childhood, only up to 8th year, a person is free. Up to 8th year, a person is free. In the 8th year, a Brahmin is supposed to get the Upanayana. Garbhashtame prakurvita Brahmanasya Upanayanam Garbhad Ekadashe Rajnyaha Garbhat Dvadashe Dvijaha, something like that. There is some shloka in Manusmriti. In the 8th year, the Brahmin has to undergo Upanayanam. In the 12th year, a person, Kshatriya, has to undergo Upanayanam. 13th year, the Vaishya, that is, has to undergo that Upanayanam. And from there, they have to study Veda. In fact, Vaishyas, they were studying Vedas. Only now we are seeing that even Brahmins we are not studying Vedas. Of course, I also did not study Vedas in my childhood. So anyway, we are supposed to study Vedas. Of course, now we are into so many different studies. If we know the meaning, I think it should be great. So in those days, it was like that. Early in the morning, the person has to do Sandhyavandanam. Then again, he has to do various other Parayanam, etc. Then again, he has to go to Veda class. So that was the ritual, that was the drill for a person every day. So there is no question of what next. So why this drill? That is to ensure that a person gets disciplined in this thing. And then the purpose of all karma is what is called Chitta Shuddhi. If we read Karma Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna very, very clearly says that Karma Yoga is meant for Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi means for purity of mind. What is this purity of mind? When we do all these karmas in a very strict manner, then you are away from various other things like greed, avarice, and all these things. Then, for example, in the Madhyanika Sandhyavandana, there is one particular line. Yaduchistam abhojyam yadva duscharitam mama sarvam punantu mama posatancha pratigraha swaha. There is a mantra like that. So the afternoon Sandhyavandana, it is done by a person after finishing his lunch. So in olden days, they used to finish their lunch around 11 or 12 or something, 11 o'clock or so. So after that, the Sandhyavandana is there, Madhyanika Sandhyavandana. Then that mantra is Yadhuchistam Abhojyam. Suppose the Brahmin's life was such a miserable life. From our modern standards, it was a very miserable life in olden days. But in those days, they considered it very, very pious. So the life was so austere, so pious, that the man was supposed to go and he was supposed to live by begging actually. So begging means not exactly Bhishatanam, but he used to take some grain or something like that, and then they used to bring back, and then the wife used to cook. So that was the picture. So if I have taken anything if I have taken the food of a person who is a sinner, so let that sin be dissolved, or let that sin go away. So there is a sort of prayashchitta mantra. Madhyana Sandhya Vandana. There is a prayashchitta mantra. If I have by mistake, knowingly I am not supposed to take anything from a sinner. Suppose a fellow has earned a lot of money in some black business, so I am not supposed to take from him. I am supposed to take only from a good person. Even that Bhikshatanam has to be done from a good person only. So the Shankaracharya, that is the reason why he goes to that lady who could only give him one that amla. So like that, he has to perform prayashchitta, recite prayashchitta mantra. So all these things, they give that purity of mind. And why is this purity of mind needed? Purity of mind is the stepping stone for a person to go to the next level called jnana. So we know that there are four purusharthas. What are those purusharthas? Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Under the head dharma, all these things which we are talking about, they come. That is all the purushartha, all the rituals, etc. All these big activities we do, they come under this dharma. Then in the while staying in the path of dharma, we are supposed to attain artha and kama. We are supposed to earn, we are supposed to make a living in the fold of dharma. And in the fold of dharma, I am supposed to have my kama, desires. Desires means not only physical desires, but various other desires. And when I do these two things according to dharma, artha, kama, moksha, that is the reason why artha and kama are sandwiched between dharma in one end and moksha in the other end. So if I acquire dharma, artha and kama in the process of dharma, then only I become eligible to go to that next level called moksha. Straight away, moksha doesn't come. I am just prepared, eligible, I get eligibility. I only get eligibility to enter that jnana nishtha. So the Shankaracharya says, chitta shuddhi, jnana prapti, moksha, jnana prapti, moksha sadhana, moksha. That is the level. First of all, a person has to have chitta shuddhi. Then only he gets that jnana nishtha yogyata. Jnana nishtha yogyata. He becomes eligible for sitting in that jnana class. Then only he is eligible to go to a teacher and then study the Upanishads. Otherwise, the Upanishads say Aham Brahmasmi, etc., Tattvamasi. If a person of impure mind, how can he understand those things? A person with a purity and pure mind, without any raga dvesha, only such person can understand, or rather apply to himself. A sinner, a person who is full of ego, full of raga dvesha, he cannot apply those sentences to himself. For example, somebody says, the Upanishad says, Tattvamasi. So how is it possible? Yeah, the Tattvamasi is quite possible if I have got a chitta shuddhi, and if I am on the same level of purity as that divinity. So chitta shuddhi is to that level. So that is the reason between karma yoga and jnana nishtha, there are other levels also. For example, atma sanyama yoga in Bhagavad Gita, if we see atma sanyama yoga, then again dhyana yoga, then again bhakti yoga. In that bhakti yoga again, there are various levels of bhakti. If we see the 12th chapter, starting from the first 12 shlokas, it talks about several levels of bhakti. So like that, there are so many levels in order to purify the person's mind. So all these rituals and upasanas, they are meant for purifying the mind. Then another question may be, for example, we have got so many vratams. We have got Satyanarayana Vratam, we have got Anantapadmanabha Vratam, we have got Varalakshmi Vratam, Gajendra, Ganesha Vratam, etc., etc. Why all these? And then Kedaresha Vratam, so many Vratams are there. Then Gauri, Mangala Gauri Vratam, etc. Why there are so many Vratams? Maybe my guess, not as though I have read somewhere. We see our sages, they harmonized various traditions which were available. Various traditions were there already, because in India was such a Bharatavarsha was such a vast land. And in this vast land of Bharatavarsha, in some area, in one area, Vishnu worship was predominant. In another area, Ganesha was predominant. In another area, something else was predominant. So our people, they harmonized all those things. And then, okay, on this particular day, according to some Ganesha mythology, Ganesha Purana, then, okay, this is the most auspicious day. According to Shiva Puranam, this is the day. According to Vishnu, the Purana, the some other day. So like that, all these Vratams, they were designed to integrate all those traditions. An ordinary Hindu, unless a person is a very hardcore Vaishnava or hardcore Shaiva, a hardcore Vaishnava may not bother to observe Shivaratri. And similarly, a hardcore Shaiva may not observe some other festival relating to Krishnashtami or something like that. So, but then most of us, all ordinary people, we follow all these, we do all these vratams. And in this vratam also, at the end, if we see, there is again, if you are worshipping Ganesha, you are worshipping Ganesha, not an individual so and so Ganesha, so and so, son of so and so. You are worshipping Ganesha as that, and as one form of, or one manifestation of that supreme being only, as the manifestation of that supreme reality. So that is the reason why we say Ganesho Pratigrunnhati, Ganesho Vai Dadati. Suppose at the end of it, we are supposed to give some danam to somebody. So when you are giving that danam, you are reciting it. Ganesho Pratigrunnhati, Ganesho Vai Dadati. The person who is giving is also Ganesha. The person who is taking the danam is also Ganesha. Ganesha Staraka Ubhabhyam. Ganesha is the person who is the savior for both of us. Taraka. Taraka means somebody who is saving both of us. Or if it is Anantavratam, you say Ananto Pratigrunnhati, Ananto Vai Dadati. Ananta is the giver and Ananta is the taker. Ananta itself means infinity, infinite. So with that spirit, if we see the mantras, if we see the shlokas there, which are there in this Vratam, everything is about, it is a philosophy, it is actually filled with philosophical meaning. Suppose Satyanarayana Vratam. Satyanarayana Vratam, of course, I have not come prepared for Satyanarayana Vratam. If we see Satyanarayana Vratam, the stories, if we see the stories of Satyanarayana Vratam, they are actually very symbolic. They are very symbolic. It is not as though Satyanarayana Swami, that Lord, is there only to frighten the Vaishyas. So there is a Vaishya. There is a Vaishya gentleman who does some, who goes for business, and then his ship sinks. So all those things we see. Then we see, hey, what is this Satyanarayana? A modern student may say, why this God is so vindictive? Suppose we see that Vaishya promised, okay, I will do that Vratam after I come back, or after I get this money, after my daughter gets married, etc., etc. So he keeps on postponing. And Satyanarayana Swami, he punishes him. So a modern student may say, why this man is doing like this? So Satyanarayana, the Vartaka does not mean only a businessman. We are, in fact, I used to think that why Satyanarayana Swami is, why in all our stories, all these Vaishyas are being threatened. So probably our Brahmin people, they wanted to threaten Vaishyas to make money. So that is what I was thinking. So of course, I myself am a Brahmin. But anyway, Vaishya, if we see, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we are all Vartakas. We are all doing trade with God. Why are we doing trade? I forget this chapter number and the book number. So there is a Vartaka group. We are all the Vartakas. Vartaka means all people who are doing business with God. Oh God, I will give you this, you give me. You give me this. If you give me this in advance, I will give you this. So like that we are all Vartakas in the eyes of a philosopher. We are all doing business with God. So that is the reason why that Vartaka doesn't refer to the Vaishya community. Vartaka refers to all of us. So like that, we have to see how that king is there, and a person who is a very, very lowly person is there. All those people, they get benefit in that. So all varnas are covered. This Vratam, so they were also meant to integrate all the varnas. For example, a Vedic ritual. A Vedic ritual is confined to a particular section only. A Vedic ritual, only Dvijas. Dvijas means Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. They were entitled to do some Vedic rituals. Then what about all of the people? All of the people were entitled for all these Vratams, which had the same philosophy. You are reading it in Vedic Sukta. What you are reading in the Vedic Sukta, you are reading in ordinary Sanskrit in a Vratam. That's all. That is the only difference. There is a Vedic Suktam which is recited during a Yajna. There is some other ordinary, this classical Sanskrit in all our Vratams. So that is how we integrated, all these things, Vratams, etc. They are to harmonize various traditions and also to bring about a harmony in the society by including all sections of the society. So this is what we see in that Yajna, in our rituals. Then Not only that, if we see a sort of spiritualization of daily life. Somebody said it and used a very good word called spiritualization of daily life. I think this word was used by some Swamiji, I forget. So how is this spiritualization of daily life? Whatever we do, we are doing it as an offering to Yadyat Karma Karomi Tattva Dakhilam Shambho Tavaradhanam. Most of us, we know this shloka. So what is this aradhana? What is this day spiritualizing? For example, we are eating, we are having our lunch, let us say. During our lunch, the traditional person, he also does some prokshana. We recite some Gayatri mantra, and then we sprinkle some water, and then we say pranaya swaha, pranaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, etc., etc. And then we start eating. So then what is that? Gita says one shloka, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. All of us, we know this shloka. That Vaishwanara Agni, Vaishwanara, that is something which is universal. Vaishwanara means Vishve, Vishve Sarvatra Vartate. Vishve means that is Vishwam. Vishwam is the whole universe. That is in that Agni, that fire which is there in every being. Because all beings, they want that food. So this, in fact, our body has to come, that is there is a fire in us, there is a food is being eaten, and then that food is converted, that food, our fire which is in us, it is converting food into energy. So that is what is there. So this Vaishwana Ragni is there. And when we eat, keeping in mind that you are doing some ahuti for that Vaishwana Ragni. So that is the reason we say pranaya swaha, pranaya apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, etc. You are doing ahutis to that Vaishwana Ragni. So with that sense, if you do, it is as good as performing Agnishtoma Yaga, says Shankaracharya in that Bhashyam. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. So there, 15th chapter, 14th shloka, Shankara Bhashyam, Bhokta Vaishwanaraha Agnihi, he says, Bhokta, who is the eater? He is the Vaishwanara. It is not as though I am eating like a glutton. I am supposed to eat, like Shankaracharya says, Bhikshaushadham bhujyatam. Bhikshaushadham. You are eating that bhiksha like aushadham. Aushadha is something which is, aushadha actually doesn't mean medicine only. Aushadha means all food is aushadham only. All food comes from the oshadhi. Oshadhi means all plants. So bhiksha aushadham bhujyatam. Like that aushadha only you have to take, like a medicine, in order to purify the inner self. So here Bhokta is Vaishwanaraha Agnihi. Bhojanam Annam Somaha. Agni and Soma. Agni is the eater and Soma is something which is eaten. Somaha, so Vojyam Annam Somaha. Tadeta Dupayam Agni Somau Sarvamiti Pashyataha Anna Dosha Lopaha Bhavati. That is what he writes. So it is as good as performing, it is like performing Agnishtoma Yaga. There is a small yajna called Agnishtoma Yaga. So a person with this awareness when he is eating, not just eating and grabbing like a glutton. So here we are not saying, oh Lord, you have given me food and I am thanking you, etc., etc. You are not different from that. When will I say, oh Lord, thank you? I am different from Lord, and then Lord is different from me. So when I have that notion, then I say, oh Lord, thank you. Then here we are not saying, oh Lord, thank you. But that is because you are one with that. You are the same Vaishwana Agni. You are the same Agni, which is the same fire, which is universally there. It is in you. So I am putting ahuti. I am giving ahutis to those Agni. With that understanding, when we do these offerings, then it is as good as doing Agnishtoma Yaga. He says, Shankaracharya Bhashyam, if we see 15th chapter, 14th shloka, he explains all this. It is on par with that Agnishtoma Yaga. So that is how the spiritualization of daily life in all our rituals, if we see all actual activities are inspired by the Upanishadic philosophy. Then again, then a question may come, why should I do karma at all? One basic question is that, why should I do karma at all? That is, I can straight away read Vedanta. You can say, somebody may say, you can straight away read Vedanta. But what Krishna says is, you may think like that, but then your body-mind complex is so powerful that it is going to drag you. It is going to drag you unless you are disciplined. Unless the body is disciplined well, unless the indriyas are disciplined well, these indriyas will drag you everywhere. Indriyani pramathini. Pramathini means these indriyas are so dangerous that the pramathanam. Mathanam means a churning. Mathanam is churning. That is the reason why Manmatha is somebody, Manaha Mathnati iti Manmatha. Manmatha is somebody who churns our mind. When Manmatha enters, he churns our mind. So Manaha Mathnati. Indriyani Pramathini, these indriyas, all the sense organs, they are like that. They do so much of churning inside. That means they torment us so much. So that is the reason why this drill is required. Indriyani Pramathini Haranti Prasavam Mana. Haranti, they drag, they take away. Then, for example, why does Krishna himself, he gives the example, his own example. For instance, Name Parthasti Kartavyam Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. He says, I am as an avatara. He has no, like all other petty human beings, he need not perform any karma. So that is what he says. Name Parthasti Kartavyam Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana Na Anavaptam Avaptavyam Varta Eva Chakarmani. He says, there is nothing for me to gain, there is nothing for me to lose. But still, I am engaged in action. And then again, why does he do so? The next shloka says, Yadyada acharati shrestha tattadevetaro jana. Why should I perform karma? Means I have to set a good example to my son. If I don't do puja every day, or if I don't get up by 5 or 5:30 in the morning and then do at least some semblance of puja, if not at 6 a.m., at least at 8 a.m. There are many people who do Sandhyavandana at 8 a.m. Maybe by 6 we may not be able to do. We may have to do some exercise, we may have to do some yoga, etc. But in olden days, that was not allowed. In olden days, if you do Sandhyavandana after sunrise, you have to do Prayashchitta. And if you are deliberately doing it, it is a second sin. We are supposed to, a person will go to hell, it is said. So, but anyway, nowadays, we have become more enlightened, and then we say we are more philosophical. And suppose if I don't do Sandhyavandana, I am not setting a good example to my son. So that is what Krishna says. Name Parthasti Kartavyam. I have no compulsory mandate, there is no mandated karma for me. Similarly, Yadyada Acharati Shrestha Tattadevetaro Janaha. Whatever a great man does, all other people follow. And he has to set a role, he has to be a role model for all other people. That is the reason Krishna again says, Sakta Karmanya Vidvamso. This is a wonderful shloka which is often quoted by our Sringeri Acharya. Sakta Karmanya Vidvamso Yatha Kurvanti Bharata. Kuryad Vidvans Tatha Asaktaha Chikirsu Lokasangraham, he says. Just as an ignorant person, a very ordinary person, ignorant of the Vedic, the meaning, etc., just as he performs a karma with all intention, with all desire to get some karma phala, a jnani also does karma. A jnani also does karma without the desire. Karmanya Kuryad Vidvans Tatha Asaktaha. Vidwan means jnani. He also will perform karma. Asaktaha means not having that sakti. Sakti means desire for that karma phalam. Without desiring that karma phalam, he does it for what? Loka sangraham, chikirshur, loka sangraham. Chikirsha means intention to do. Chikirsha means kartum ichha chikirsha. That is chikirshur, loka sangraham. Loka sangraham, chikirshu. That is desiring to do loka sangraha. Loka sangraha means for the welfare of, for the good of people. For the good of the people, for keeping people on the right track. If I don't do, if a person in a high place does not do anything, all other people also will follow. Today, our role models may be film actors or some other models, etc., football players, etc. But then in olden days, role models were really good people, eminent people, and then some learned people, some Swamijis, some Pandits, some people like that, but not say some because of our media and then because of prevalence of so many media, then our role models have changed. But in olden days, it was not so. Krishna was a role model, Rama was a role model, somebody else was a role model. So it was like that. Vivekananda, somebody is keeping that Vivekananda picture. Vivekananda is a role model. So it is like that. So anyway, this Jnani also is supposed to do karma for Loka Sangraha, that is for the good of the society. Unless unless I am a sannyasi, I am jolly well supposed to do karma. So if I want to give up karma, I have to take up renunciation. I have to formally become a sannyasi. So that is what it is. And karma yoga, when a person becomes a jnani, and karma yoga is compared to something which disappears when a person attains jnana. Karma yoga attains, he may be doing karma, but then he doesn't need it also. He doesn't need it. He may be just doing karma for the sake of being a role model to all other people. But a person who is a jnani, he doesn't do karma also. A person who is a sannyasi, he doesn't do karma. But a person who is a jnani and who is not a sannyasi, for example, King Janaka is an example of that. King Janaka is an example where he is an enlightened person, but he is still doing all the karma. He is doing all the karma. So such people, they will be continuing to do karma. So that is what we see in the whole structure of this karma. Karma yoga is something like a detergent. It is said karma yoga is like when we take bath, we use some soap. So karma yoga, but then that soap will not come along with us. That soap also goes away. When karma yoga is like that. With that soap, we clean our mind. And then once the mind is cleaned, then it is no longer needed. So that is at the highest level. So long, as long as we don't reach that particular level, we have to do karma. So that is what is the overall philosophy of these rituals. Rituals are basically designed very meticulously by our sages in order to have this sort of social harmony, to purify a person's character, and so that to ensure that a person goes to the highest level called moksha, the highest purushartha, the fourth purushartha called moksha. So that is the picture. So I think I will stop with this, and if there are any questions, I'll take. Roughly, I spoke for about an hour.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, we will, in the last webinar, we didn't have.
Yeah. There was some question which I did not have time, and then I went away fast. There was some lady who asked a question.
So if the person is in the crowd, in the participants group, please unmute yourself and ask that question. I have unmuted all of you. Anybody? Anybody wants to ask a question, you can now raise your hand. Ratnamji. Yeah, I think she may be Ratnamji. Okay, Ratnamji, please.
Namaste, Dr. Aravinda Ram garu. And where can we find your books that you have written?
Oh, some of the English books, I think all the English books are from MSCO Books, Hyderabad. MSCO Books, EMESCO, MSCO Books, Hyderabad. One book is published by Sringeri Peetham, that is Vedanta, Viveka Chudamani, all these slokas, word by word meaning and explanation, and Chandrasekhara Bharati Swamiji's commentary in brief. So that, because that book contained Chandrasekhara Bharati Swamiji's commentary, I requested Sringeri people to publish it, and Sringeri Swami was kind enough to publish it. So one book only is published by Sringeri. All other English books, they are published by, say, this MSCO Books. And two books are published by this Gita Press Gorakhpur. They are in Telugu. They are published by Gita Press Gorakhpur.
Could we have a list of all your books?
Yes, okay. I'll send a mail to our Prabhakar Rauji. He can communicate to all of you.
Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank
you. Okay, Krishnamurti Shastri garu.
Hari Om.
Hari.
I was very much impressed, sir, and particularly about vratas, but Satyanarayana Vratam. I have some things, sir. In this, all the rituals, particularly Satyanarayana Vratam means those who sticks to Satyam. Satyam is nothing but the truth is God. So that God is Narayana, Satyame Narayana. So when we take that and we practice that Satyam in our life, everything will be good. This is the message that is given by Satyanarayana Vratam. in this, we will find all the stories when we study the stories, though they are meant for, they have divided into varnas and they have given all these things. We find that they all tell about only Satyam, to speak Satyam only. Particularly in the first chapter, we will find as if all human beings, they are suffering and these things are known, and these sufferings are, these human beings have gone to Sota Maharshi. Sota Maharshi, when they ask Sota Maharshi starts telling stories. Then he said Narada went to Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu has said that only truth is the one. If you practice it, everything will be all right. So when we apply to our body also, in our body, all the cells also, they when they do some unwanted things, they suffer from disease. So when they go in truth, in the manner when they speak truth, or a person speaks truth, everything will be good. So if every human being speaks truth, definitely all things will go well. Like that, even that also we say Navagraha Puja, means Sakshi of all Navagrahas and all these things we are saying, yeah, from today onwards, I speak truth. I stick on to this, I will live on truth. So this is how the first message is given. And if that message is followed by everyone, and if truth is followed, that will be, I mean, the Satyamrita main message is only to pass on this. And in this you will find those whoever delayed telling lies, telling truths, particularly the Vartaka, the Sadhu, who postpones telling truth. That's why he suffers. Means if you want to tell truth now itself and practice it and without break. If that truth is missing, or if you want to postpone this, you will suffer from some problem. And also, afterwards, if you start postponing it, you may forget that also. You may forget telling truth. So you will find they forget telling truth, they start suffering from all these things only for material beings to understand it as if it is Papa BP and Papam and all these things. But to say, if you go deep into that, we shall see that only the truth is not followed. Since they are not followed truth and the rule of truth in their lifetime, they are suffering from. And the next one, they neglecting truth. I mean, in the fourth one, she doesn't take this prasadam and she comes back. It means if you want to tell truth, heartfully you tell truth completely, and then you will enjoy the fruits of it. In the fifth one, if you totally disrespect truth, that is the Kshatriya, the Raja, who did not, who rejected the prasadam, means the truth, in fact, he suffered from this. So again, whoever all followed this truth, they all enjoyed the fruits. So in that, the only message you come across throughout Vratam, means almost in all Vratas, they give some message to us, like Satyavratam means only follow truth. That is why it is followed from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. This particular Vratam in every Shubhalagnam, all these things. And I mean, this is what I have understood about Satyavratam.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you. Okay, now Shashir Rao garu.
Namaste, Guruji. Sir, you have told 4 different types of bhakta. Artha, Jignasa,
Four?
Arthati. What is the last one, sir? Example also.
What is it, please? Repeat. Jignasa.
Artha.
4 people. That is a line from Gita. Arto Jignasu Ratna Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam Jana Prakrutinor Jana Sukrutinor. You can just go to take the Gita text and then go to index and then you can locate this shloka. Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam. It starts like that. Chaturvidha Bhajante Mam Jana Sukrutinor. Arto Jignasu Raktharthi Jnani Cha Bharatarshava. Artha means somebody who is distressed. Jignasu, who is one who is desirous of knowing things, and Artharthi, one who wants some prosperity, and Jnani, who is already an enlightened man, but still he is worshipping, he loves God because he is He loves God as he loves himself. That Atma, he doesn't see God as different. That reality is not different from himself. So he has all love for the puja, etc. So those four people, four categories.
Example for Jignasa and the Jnani is Prahalada common, sir.
No, Jignasu, somebody else. Jignasu is Uddhava. Uddhava is Jignasu. I didn't tell that example for Jignasu. Jnani is Prahlada. Uddhava is Jignasu.
Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad, sir.
Yes, please. Any other question?
Okay. And next one, anybody else want to ask a question? Okay, Saugandhiji.
Namaste, Guruji. I just wanted to check the vratas and the pujas are region-based evolutions, is it? Because you don't have some of the vratas like Satyanarayana Vrata, you don't have it in Kerala or Tamil Nadu, I think. I don't know. We didn't have it when I was growing up. Then we don't have Ganesha Chaturthi is not celebrated this way in Kerala. In Kerala, we just in the house with the haldi, we make a Ganesha and we do it. So it's like region based, and is it like that? Because we have some
Yes,
other
you are
vratas
right.
like Savitri Vrata we have in
Yes,
Palakkad.
you are right. Yeah, you are right. You are very correct. In fact, that is what my guess also is, because different areas had different local deities, and then prominent. In one area, Ganesha was prominent. In another area, Muruga was prominent. In another area, Surya was prominent. For example, if you go to Orissa, that area, Surya worship was prominent. So, like that, different areas had different traditions of worship. So, our sages. So they integrated all those things. In fact, regarding Satyanarayana Vratam, there is also one allegation. I don't know how far it is true. There is an allegation that it is something which was introduced by the Muslims. I don't believe in West Bengal. It seems Satyanarayana Vratam was first introduced in West Bengal by the local Muslims or something like that. If you Google it, you will get a lot of literature on that. And you are right. The Satyanarayana Vratam was not there in my place also. I am from this Rayalaseema area, Rayalaseema, Anantapur district. Satyanarayana Vratam was rarely done. It was not very popular. But then when I come to Coastal Andhra, when I see Coastal Andhra, everybody performs Satyanarayana Vratam. So like that, regional variations are very much there. In fact, Ganesha, we also used to make with the turmeric only. With the turmeric only, we used to prepare one Ganesha, and then we used to put some grass on that. That is our practice also in Karnataka and also in Rayalaseema also. So that is our practice. There are regional variations, but then our sages, they wanted to integrate all these people so that we don't quarrel. And then the same Ganesha, you also worship Ganesha as that supreme reality. I also worship Ganesha as that supreme reality. But the local practices, small practices, they are different. You may give Vayanam, maybe one coconut, you may give Vayanam in one place, and somebody else may give some cloth, some other cloth. So it again depends.
You are, I think, muted.
Dhanyavad.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else wants to ask any doubt, questions? Otherwise, we'll give vote of thanks. Let us request Vishalakshi Garu to give vote of thanks, please.
Regarding, I have got one small addition regarding this spiritualization of daily life, etc. Inculcating good samskaras. I forgot to tell. Inculcating good samskaras. For example, nowadays we are all worried about bringing up female children. How to bring up, how to instill some good samskaras. If we see the Devi Navaratri in many areas, there is a practice called Kanya worship. Kanya, a 3-year-old, starting with a 3-year-old Kanya, daughter, 3-year-old girl. On the first day, a 3-year-old girl is taken. She is worshipped as a particular form of the Devi. And for next day, a 4-year-old girl is taken. Another day, a 5-year-old girl. Another day, 6-year-old girl. So up to 10th year, they are taken like that. And then they are worshipped as different forms of that Devi. They are decorated, and then they put various ornaments, and then she physically they wash her feet, and then you make her feel that she is the goddess. So such respect for women is also there. Such respect. In fact, we have all types of misunderstandings about our tradition. So this Devi Navaratri, if we see Devi Bhagavatam, if we read Devi Bhagavatam, you find you read this particular passage regarding worshipping of girls as that goddess herself. So some of these things they inculcate good habits. And in our area also in Rayalaseema, we also had the practice of going for Bhikshatana. On a particular day, I forget that particular day, Shravana Masam, I think, we used to take one silver cup.
Ravana
We used to go to all the houses, and then we used to say, oh, I belong to so and so. My Kula Devata is Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. We say, oh, Lakshmi Narasimha Swami, Vijayam, something like that, and then go there, and then they put some rice or something like that. So like that, this is actually a small remnant of what Bhikshatanam was done by brahmacharis in olden days. All the brahmacharis, they used to do Bhikshatanam, get some food and give to the Guru Patni. And Guru Patni was actually, she was the cook for that whole school. So if the school was big, of course, probably she had some helpers also. But the Guru Patni, she was the person who was who was preparing food. And the students had to go get food and then give to them. So that is how some good practices, to inculcate good practices, all these things are designed.
Even Sumangali Prarthana, like that way, before the any good function, you honor the ladies.
Exactly. They wash the feet and then apply turmeric.
Even those things which you honor for age, like Shashtya Purti and all that, it actually shows the respect you have for the elder, plus the Panchabhutas that helped their living.
Okay, Ratnamji wants to ask again some question.
Oh, sorry, sir. I put it in the chat box. Only thing I wanted to thank the VSS organization for arranging this lecture, and thank you, sir, for this enlightening and informative lecture. I wanted to just say that. I put it in the box. Thank you, sir. Acharya, thank you.
So,
thank you very much, sir. See, the very brief message I would like to convey, what Dr. Aravinda Saab has given to us, is the rituals are to be done. They develop, everybody has to be disciplined. Everybody has to develop the Chittasuddhi. For that purpose, karmas have to be done. The rituals are to be done to reach that level of jnana. So this is the preliminary step. That's what he has conveyed to us. Discipline and Chittasuddhi. These are two things required for jnana, for achieving the jnana. So thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us and our group. And we expect some more lectures like this. And next lecture, please give us the topic and date so that we will be blessed again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The books are also available on Amazon. I myself got some of them. I just wanted to tell.
Okay. Shall we close with Prarthana and Janaganamana, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Saugandhiji, Prarthana, please.
Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Gobhramanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahito Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Adana Sadana Santu Jivantu Sharatam Shatam Aputra Putrina Santu Pautrinaha Adanasa Danasantu Jivantu Sharatam Shtam Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyayanma Pramataha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। स्वस्ति।
धन्यवादः सौगंधी जी. Let us all recite Jana Gana Mana, national anthem. Let us all stand up and request Surya Prakash Garu to recite
Yes,
for
sir.
us, and all will follow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Janagana mana adinayaka jaya he Bharata bhagya vidata. Punjab Sindhu Gujarata Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladita Ranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashisha Mage Gahe Tava Jaya Gata जनगण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हे.
Jai Hind.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్.
ధన్యవాదం అండి సూర్య ప్రకాష్ గారు.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్.
I would like to congratulate Dr.